Okay, I've kind of taken care of my mountains here a little bit, but I'm going to put one more coat on them. I've made a very light blue colored wash. I put glaze, titanium white, and then just a touch of this blue mix, and put it on my brush so that it's pretty thin. I put some extender on my surface so that the paint will move, and then I just lightly go over my mountains and my boats with this light color, and you can visibly see those mountains stepping back when you do this. Put a little more water in my brush. And we'll come through here one more time with it. You see that they really do get set back into the background now. Okay, now clean that brush, and let's see, going to while this is still wet, I'm going to dab in some of the woods. Now this time I'm going to also use another watercolor brush. This is the 16 round, and going to dress it with extender in it. The reason I want to use this brush is because it has a lot of body in it, but also has a point. And I'm going to pick up some of this over here. Pick up some of my blue, kind of pounce it around, get a lot of it out of the brush, and then we're just going to make some little dabby places, just an impression of some woods back here, no more than a ½ inch high. And then I come back and I'm going to put a little bit more of the pigment in my brush. Make it just a little bit darker. We're working with values again and perspective. And I'm going to pounce right over the same place, but just a little bit less, so that that first lighter coat we put on shows up a little bit behind it. Put a little more water in my brush so I can get it to point for me. There we go. Well, seem to not have enough paint in my brush tonight. Filming this on Saturday night after I worked my double shift yesterday, and came home in the morning and I got 3 hours of sleep from 7 to 10:30. I've been up since then, so it might be why I'm having problems. So I'm going to dip out some more pigment. Then I'm going to come back a third time. Well, or not. I can't seem to get anything in the brush, which is okay because I usually have the opposite problem. Okay, come in here, and that might be just a little too dark. So wipe some of that out of the brush. There we go, and come back over here. Now we're getting better. Not too stark of a contrast, but you can see that those woods are there, and you can see the perspective in them because it's darker. The closer it gets to you, the darker it is. And I'm going to have to make this one just a little lighter. So what I'm going to do is with that wet brush come back over here into my lighter blue and kind of cut some of that darkness with the lighter blue. That would be if I had any left on my palette, but I think I've used it all. But now I've wet my brush, and I'm coming back over here and trying to reconstitute it, which I think I can get enough off of there. Yeah. See, you pounce that back in there and it cuts that dark. But now I've lost my dark, so I do need to go back in, get a little bit of pigment back on my brush again. This video is called Watch the Teacher Struggle. Okay, stopping there and pretending it's good. Actually, that did look pretty good, so now I'll add a little more over here. Secret, though, is to know when to quit. Okay. Now we're going to move to our number 8 shader and start shading the boats and our houses. And I really am going to have to turn this the other way so that I can do it. I don't think I can float upside down. I really can't. So sorry. But, okay, I'm going to use my number 8 shader, and I'm going to dress it in extender, my favorite medium. And also I've used up my glaze from my palette, so I better put some more of that out if I can find it. Okay. Alright, I'll puddle back again, and I'm gonna need to pour a little more of my pigment out. And I'm going to dress half this shader in glaze, and the other side in the pigment, and then I'm going to brush it out on my palette to blend. And okay, I'm going to put, well, okay, I think I can turn it around for this one. I'm going to shade this side. This shade is not going to be a really wide dark one because this is the side that the light is coming from. And if you get it too wide, I can tell this is not a good night for me to be taping because I'm messing up. But I'm going to do it anyway so that I can have it done on time if I can find my mop. And naturally I can't. So I'm just going to find a dry filbert, kind of mop it a little bit. Okay. And you know what I did not do is I did not put my extender out here to help my paint move. Okay, let's try that float again. I'll lift that edge just a little bit so that it doesn't make a real wide float. Okay, and then we need to put one up here under the roof. So what we're doing is we're starting to give these houses dimension, turn them from a line drawing into real buildings. And I need to get some more moisture on my brush because it's getting dry. And a little more pigment. And a little glaze. I get my gradation back. Now I'm going to go back over this one. So I want it to be a little darker because it is the shadow of the roof. We'll put one here. And let's see, we're going to put one under the roof of this house. Well, at least I can float.